Why is it important to address challenging behaviors?
I think something that a lot of people don't realize is that eventually behaviors are going to get more difficult the longer they go on. Children get bigger, behaviors get bigger. A lot of times we don't even acknowledge a problem exists because when we're very close to it, it's something that's difficult to see. Very often I have families who will come to me and say, my child is 14 years old, he's starting to become aggressive, he's hitting, he is kind of learning to throw his weight around, and it's something that's getting very difficult to handle because of his size. And when you look back at the history of that individual, it might have been something that they were engaging in when they were 5 years old, 6 years old, but we didn't have to address it because we were able to just pick them up and say, okay, let's go. So as soon as those behaviors appear, it's very important that we address them. The longer those behaviors are part of that individual's repertoire, the harder it's going to be to replace them with more appropriate behaviors.
What should I know before addressing challenging behaviors?
I think one of the most important things for parents to know before they address challenging behaviors is that they are going to see the behaviors get worse before they get better. So, for example, if you have a child who is screaming when you put a demand on them or when you try to help them transition somewhere, if you don't give in the way that you used to and you expect them to, let's say, use language or communicate to you in a different way, they might then raise the bar at that point, and you might start seeing some aggression. You might start seeing them dropping to the floor, eloping, running away from you, and they're going to keep upping the bar and testing the limits until they realize that you're going to stay consistent, follow through with the intervention, and then you'll have success.
How important is consistency in addressing challenging behaviors?
Consistency is a very important issue, and when discussing your loved one's challenging behaviors, it's something that you're going to hear over and over again, because without consistency, we're not going to see the gains that we need to see with challenging behaviors. I think that it's important for the entire team to be consistent. Anybody that comes into contact with your child, if there isn't consistency, what you're doing is you're teaching that individual that eventually the old behavior is going to work. It's that intermittent reinforcement of those behaviors that really makes the behavior stronger. So, for example, if you're playing the slot machines in Las Vegas, and if you look at the trend that happens, is you'll see people are sitting there for days and days and days. And why do they keep pulling that handle? Because eventually that there might be that payoff. So what we need to make very clear is that that payoff won't be there, and then unless that individual engages in the appropriate behavior that we're trying to teach, a better way for them to communicate what it is they're trying to communicate, then that behavior is not going to get better.
What if I'm having trouble carrying out a behavior plan?
What I think is a really good way to think about it is, as a parent, if you're working with a team that's trying to help you address that behavior, one of the most important things is to be really honest with that team. And if you don't have the capacity to carry out the plan as they're asking you to do it on a consistent basis, the best thing you can do is be honest about that, because there's always another way. There's always more than one way to work on it. So because you have other things that get in the way, like family life and siblings and a job and things that you have to do, sometimes we can try to give you a plan that won't work within your family. So the more honest you are and the more you're a part of planning that intervention, the more likely it'll be that you'll be able to be consistent and carry out the plan to the best of your capacity.